All right, all right. It is December 16th, 2025. I almost had a brain fart there for a second because we were so close to the new year. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. It's Heart Center Marketing for Tuesday night. We're here every single Tuesday at 7 o'clock for a few minutes to talk a little bit about heart-centered marketing and the way I approach marketing in this world we are in and going into the new future with the AIs and all kinds of crazy things. But nothing's really changed, right? Because it is about relationships. I had my good friend George Bryant on the Academy call, our private conversation, our private mastermind today, and emphasized again how important relationships are to this world as it goes into a more, data-driven, content-driven world, especially with AI putting things into the into the feeds so easily. And I'm not against it, not against anything about AI or anything like that, but I am all for relationships, and that's really what I want to talk about today. Because in reality, our job is to make our clients' jobs journey to the oasis that they want to be in a lot easier. And one of the things that I learned from Eben Pagan, I'll give him credit, was this way of looking at our product as this obstacle, which really is what it is. It's an obstacle to what people want. So they're in a crisis right now and they want to get to an oasis. And realistically, no matter what we put in front of them, no matter how easy it is for them to get to the oasis, our product, it is still an obstacle. Okay, so this is the idea that we think that our product is the solution to their issues, which it is, and to the client it's really that obstacle, because they still have to do something in order to get to where they want to be, right? If clients could actually push that magic button, do I have it behind me? You can't really see it, but there's a magic button over there. If they could actually create that magic button, push it, and get to the oasis, get to where they really want to be, they would do it. But what we're trying to do is make that journey a little bit easier, right? So the course and the program that we put in front of them is an obstacle. Just stay with me for a few minutes on this concept. By the way, if you're here with me live, let me know. See some people joining here on the Instagrams. Welcome to the show. If you have any questions, challenges, you want to put some feedback in, I'd love to hear it, because I love the interaction during this time together. So your product is actually the traffic that sits between, getting downtown. So even if you give them a luxury car and it's the best ever, they still have to drive downtown, right? They still have to go through all of the traffic lights in order to get to downtown, right? They still have to get through those things. So think about that for 1 second, because as I said, your clients are in this crisis and they want to be in that oasis, and your product is that bridge between the two. So bridges require effort to get across, no matter how long they are, no matter how short they are, whatever. Your job is to make that bridge longer or fancier. Your job isn't to make the bridge longer or fancier. And a lot of us try to do that. At least I did for many, many years, tried to make it really, really cool. But realistically, it's about crossing as fast and friction-free as possible. And we're not talking about, making false promises or anything here, but we're actually making it a little bit shorter for them, making it easier for them. And that's why I'm a big proponent of guidance. That's why I'm really into live guidance with people, instead of just selling them a digital product or something and saying, here you go, here's the keys, right? Go drive yourself downtown. I'd rather be the chauffeur. I'd rather guide with them, go on the ride with them, and have a conversation throughout the entire journey until they get to the destination where they want to be. So you can't drag people across that bridge, and that's the whole point. You have to invite the right ones. And curation, part of the first pillar that I teach out of 3, I'll give you them very quickly, which is number 1 is curate the tribe, number 2 is serve to sell, and the third one is respect their timeline. So I want to talk about the curation of the tribe, because you can't drag people in across that bridge. You could definitely do a lot of bro marketing type of stuff and manipulation and persuasions and all these other things to try to get people to buy. And probably some of them will work, but actually what you're doing is dragging people in. You're dragging them across that bridge. What I want to do is I want to invite the right people to the beginning of that bridge. And curating dream clients means you find people that are willing to do the work because they trust your character, not just your reputation. I'm going to say that again. They trust your character and not just your reputation. Now, a lot of people, well, there's not a lot of people, but I mean, there's enough people who will bank on their reputation, and that's how they sell. And I believe that it's all about character, right? So when you have this character, reputation is what strangers think. So there's two different ways of looking, two different perspectives here. So a reputation is what strangers think of you. Character is who you actually are when you show up to serve. You see, so I have a reputation of just being candid, straight up, authentic, vulnerable, all of that stuff. And that's just the way I show up too. So it's easy. It's a lot easier just to show up as who you are. So you get the reputation and you have the character to back it up. So in the Go Giver, this I'm just going to read this out. There's called the law of influence, and the Go Giver states that your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. This is the way character. This is why character beats reputation, right? So if you're trying to bring clients into your world, you build your character because you have interest in the client more than you have interest in how much you're going to make, your bank account, right? The bank account is always second, in my opinion. It's more about how can I serve first for that person that I'm speaking to get something of value, to get a win in their court, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 100 wins before they're actually giving me money. And that's where the serve first, sell later comes in, because you stop trying to convince people to buy the vehicle, right? You start showing them how you can help them and teach and to reach that destination. So that's why free content or free giveaways without actually asking for anything in return. I'm even talking about opt-ins. I'm not saying never have an opt-in or ask for an opt-in or anything like that, but when you begin to give people gifts that allow them to move forward, that showcases not only what you can do, but it also showcases your character, or it builds your character. And back to the Go Giver, great book, by the way. Read the book. Thanks to George Bryant today for reminding me again of this book. I want to reread it again. But there's the law of value. Remember that the Go Giver, it says, your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. I'll read that again. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. And that's why it's always been a strategy, or whatever you want to call it. I don't like using a strategy, but it's more about how much value can I give before I ever ask for anything. To me, it's an 80-20 rule. It's always about giving 80% value and then maybe a 20% ask, especially when it comes to email marketing and all the other stuff that I used to be in, or I tried, back in 2016 to 19, where I thought I was doing something wrong, and I was being, I looked into another world, the bro marketers, that kind of stuff, and started emulating that, started modeling that, where I thought I was doing something wrong, and that was more about being more aggressive, like almost every day asking someone to buy or that kind of stuff, and it just did not sit right with me. And now I know why, because I'm a heart-centered person. I know I don't want to push someone into doing something that they are not ready to do yet at all. And so that's where my third pillar of respect their timeline came into play. It's like, well, you know what? If they're not ready yet, it's all good. Wait till they are ready to become a client, if they want to become a client. And in between, there's conversations of me giving value and helping them out. So you focus on the clients that you already have more than you go out and look for more. Okay. So this is a big thing that I see all the time, where if you're in a funnel mindset, is like, get as many people as you can, work to get them to buy something. And then if that doesn't work, you're going to go out and try and find more clients. I'm not saying never go and try and find clients or run things to get clients, but if it's all focused on that philosophy, you're always trying to fish for more. You're always trying to do this, or you get people in. I hate using the word fish. I got to find a better analogy for this, but there's people in your pond already swimming around, right? The fish in the pond, and you got to feed them. So when they're in there, just because they didn't buy or bite or eat that first time around, doesn't mean you leave them and go out into the ocean, try and find more. It's like, no, let me nurture these. Let me feed them. Let them grow. Let them trust me to come to the surface and take it from my hand, type of thing, right? Crazy analogy, but that's the one that comes to mind right now. So shift your mindset. You're not really selling a product. You're selling the removal of obstacles. That's what you're doing, because your product and the modules or exercises or whatever is inside the product are obstacles. Every single point is an obstacle. And the easier you make it to go through the obstacles or remove some of those obstacles, it's going to be easier for you. So your guide is to be your goal is to be the guide to make that journey from the crisis to oasis really, really simple, safe, and clear. And I think that if you look at it from this point of view and say, and you look at your product, if you're like me, it's like you don't know when to end, right? It's like, oh, there's so many great things I could teach. I'm going to add this, I'm going to add that. But the simpler it is, the better it is. And one of my biggest problems is I don't know when to end. I don't know when to, where should I stop? The on ramp and the off ramps. Like, where does your product end? Again, going back to Eben Pagan many, many years ago, where I remember, him asking that question, and it was really hard for like yeah, there we go. I don't know why my audio just went off there for a second. That's crazy. I didn't hit anything. Sorry about that. I don't even know what I missed or what you missed, but basically what I was saying is that anyway, it'll come back to me. So what I'm saying is that if you have a product that has multiple multiple phases or multiple modules or something, and you don't know where to end, then look at it and say, what's the most impactful milestone that they could reach with this product or with this thing that I'm teaching them, rather than trying to give them the entire the entire kitchen sink, because they're just going to get overwhelmed, and that's not what you want. And then you get no transformation whatsoever. And then what happens? Your reputation goes down, right? And your character, well, I don't know about your character, but your reputation definitely goes down, because you're not doing anything. You're not transforming anybody. Welcome. Hey, Shannon Miri. Wow. An old friend just joined on the Instagrams. Good to see you. Wow. Long time no see. Amazing. So there you go. That is the reason why your product is an obstacle, and what to do instead. What to do instead is to think about it as an obstacle, and then remove some of the obstacles that you have going from the crisis, which, right, is where the problem is, and then to the oasis, and make that bridge, the gap between the two, very easy for them to go through. That's what it's all about. So thank you for being there. Hey, Shannon, good to see you. Wow. Hope you're doing well. All right, so there we go. If there's any questions, I don't see any questions. Cool. Thanks for being here live with me. There we go. Wow, that was a quick one for the 15 minutes that go by here on the December 16th, 2025. So we are here for another 2 weeks is it 2 weeks until the new year? Wow, it's crazy. But depending on how does this land, we should be here for the next couple of weeks, unless Christmas is on a Tuesday, which I doubt it. If it's not, then we will see you for another couple of weeks here for 2025. Good to see you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year if you don't see me until then. And we'll see you next week on another heart-centered marketing show. My name is Joey Ragona. You are who you are. Hopefully you have the best rest of your night.